What's up guys, it's Lifebarrel here, and today I'm bringing you a video showcasing a Dragon's B10 speed team with Tarq. He's getting pretty popular in Dragon, and for good reasons, and I'll explain that later in the video. But first I'll say that this team is about 87% success rate with my current runes, and with my towers and stuff. I have the speed tower maxed, the crit damage tower maxed, and the defense tower maxed, and that's it in terms of the stat towers. Those are like the glory towers, what I'm talking about. And so, yeah, I'll get this run started, but I think my thing's gonna crash. Yeah, it just crashed. So I'll just pull it back up really quick. And, okay, now I'll get the run started. And so the average run time is about 1.5 minutes, but the fastest this team has done is my record time right now, which is 1:16, I believe. And sometimes it's as slow as like 1:45. It just depends on your RNG for like defense breaks and violent procs and stuff. I'll show you the runes on all these guys when I'm done, and you'll see that these guys don't have insane runes, and if they had insane runes, this would probably be a lot higher success rate, because, what's it called, 87 isn't really the best, but it's all, you know, it's the best I can do. This is the current team I'm running. I'm looking to make a different team that might be a little more successful, but I don't know exactly what to do, because I have a Spectra, and if I try and switch chilling for Spectra, it doesn't work because I don't do enough damage to kill the boss quick enough. But so the way this team basically works is, of course you guys know what Galleon does, and he goes first, so he does his time to loot ideally, and then we kill the waves. And then next was Tarq, I believe. I don't know what the speed order is exactly. I know Tarq, I know Galleon's first and Verd is last, which is what I wanted to do, because the plan is Galleon goes and does his buff, and then Tarq, and Chilling all get their attacks off to do damage and speed debuffs and all that stuff. And then Verd goes and gives everyone this attack bar again. Now, the only thing about Chilling is I have mine max skilled, which I don't recommend, because when he's max skilled, I find that most of the time, as soon as the right crystal goes, Chilling uses his buff instead of his attack, which means he doesn't take the immunity off the boss. But so I lost Twa there because I didn't get the immunity off the boss, which happens sometimes, and I just had to wait another turn. So this was 1:45, this run, and I'll show you another run, and hopefully this is another win, because, I mean, whatever, it doesn't win all the time, and you'll see when you see my runes that there's a reason it doesn't win all the time. My Chilling is ruined really poorly, and my Hua isn't on violent. My Hua and my Chilling aren't on violent. But I have all these guys on damage builds. Like I said, you'll see it in a second. But yeah, basically the way this team's supposed to work is, I'm just gonna try and I can't kill the boss before the right tower moves, even if I have a Spectra to slow down the right tower. So I bring Chilling so I can actually remove the immunity, as well as he can do a little bit of damage. So I ruined him for damage, and that's why Chilling is in the team. I've made another video on a Dragon's B10 speed team with Chilling, and it was almost the same team, but it had Spectra instead of Tarq. But this team is, you know, specifically showcasing Tarq because I just 6-starred him like last weekend, so I don't know, a couple days ago or something. And so 2 times in a row Galleon didn't have time to loot on the first turn, so okay, he got the defense break this time, and he got a couple of violent procs, but okay, yeah, this is supposed to be about Tarq. So I'll explain why Tarq is good, because I forgot to. So his first skill is pretty bad, I'll say. It attacks and does like a life drain, but it doesn't do very much damage. And in Dragons, he's so squishy that the life drain doesn't really do anything, because he basically gets one-shotted most of the time anyways. And then his second skill does some pretty significant damage and gives himself a speed buff, and the skill also scales off his speed, so that skill is actually pretty nice. But then the third skill is the reason people like to use him. His third skill, I'll show you. right here. His third skill attacks with 2 other allies. Now this is really good because it does a ton of damage as well as it refreshes cooldowns, and with this team, if he takes Verd, he gives the whole team attack bar. If he takes Galleon, he will defense break and reduce Galleon's cool times. If he takes Wall, he'll reduce the attack bar. And if he takes Chilling, if the immunity's up, he'll remove the immunity too. So that's why Tarq is super useful in speed teams in Dragons. I don't think I'd recommend him outside of like YOLO speed teams because he is really squishy. You'll see he's got 8,500 HP and 362 defense. So it's going to be really hard to make him survive a team unless you have like a reviver. But yeah, so he's not my first pick if you're not running just a complete YOLO team. And so my overall like review of Tarq in Dragons is I do think he's pretty good in these speed runs. I think he's more of like a late game thing. Like I don't even know if I'm late game enough to really think he's that amazing because I just don't have the runes to make a team that's amazing with him, because basically the only place he's useful in is places where you're just going to completely nuke the boss out like really quick. And this team does pretty quick, but not as quick as I would want it to be. So that's just something to keep in mind, is you don't want to build Tarq unless you're really late game and trying to make a complete YOLO Dragons B10 team. So I'll show you the stats and everything on my guys. Verd's on Violent and a Broken set. And the only things to take note of here is his speed is 179. And plus he has the speed. I'm using his leader skill and I have the max Sky Tribe Totem, and then he's got plus 792 attack, max crit rate, and 94 crit damage. Something you could consider is Chilling has this crit rate buff. So when you use, oops, my thing crashed. Since Chilling has a crit rate buff, you could, if you want to, try and run a 70 crit rate Verd. But I didn't do that because when Chilling doesn't have the crit rate buff up, you still want your Verd to have 100 crit rate, so that's why I didn't. But you could try it with 70 crit rate. Chilling is on Focus and 2 Broken sets, so like I said, my Chilling is on really bad runes, and preferably I could get him on Violent someday. The only thing to take note of is he's faster than Verd and he's slower than my Galleon. I'll show you my Galleon speed. So this is like what, 196 speed, I think. Yeah, so he's faster than my Verd. He's in between my Verd and my Galleon in speed order. And then he's got 75 crit rate, 106 crit damage. The accuracy you actually do need to take note of, because even though he attacks 3 times, if you have 0 accuracy, sometimes it does get resisted. So at least a little bit of accuracy is preferred. And then he's got plus 906 attack. Like I said, these are not great runes at all. He's on speed, crit rate, attack. Ideally, I'd be on attack, crit damage, attack on a Violent something, like Violent Blade, Violent Focus, something, you know? And then, but of course, all I have is a Focus and Broken sets. So my Chilling is not ideal. My Hua is also not on Violent. She's on Blade, Revenge. I don't think Revenge is great on Hua, because her passive on a Revenge proc does nothing, because if someone attacks you and you counterattack, their attack bar is already at 0, so all she does on a counterattack is just do a bit of damage. But her runes aren't amazing. She doesn't have a lot of attack. She's in between Verd and Galleon in speed, and then she's got 85 crit rate and 148 crit damage, as well as max accuracy in Dragons, which is 55%. Here's my Tarq, who's like the main like showcase guy. His runes aren't amazing. I don't know, I just don't have great Violent runes yet. He's on a Violent Broken. The things to note is he's in between Verd and Galleon. He's got 75 crit rate, but he gets an extra 15 on the boss because of Element Advantage. So that boosts him up to 90 crit rate on the boss, as well as the crit rate buff when it's up will give me 100. He's got 143 crit damage, and then only plus 507 speed. He's on Violent, Speed, crit damage, and attack. And I'll show you these runes right here, just so you can see them. But so yeah, you can see my Tarq is nothing special. Like, he doesn't have nearly enough attack and nearly enough crit damage. So there's definitely people that are gonna have better Tarqs than me. And then the last guy is Galleon, who's on Violent Blade. He's got max accuracy in dragons. With element advantage, he's got 92 crit rate, 135 crit damage. He's the fastest on my team, and this is how fast he is, 196. And then his attack is just over 1,000. So, yeah, like I said, none of these guys on this team have amazing runes, just because of the fact I don't have amazing runes. I put my best runes on my Dragons team, but this is just the best I got right now. But so that's the team and how it works and success rate and all that stuff. You can try this team out for yourself and tell me how it worked or didn't work for you. Note that if you have weaker runes than me, it's like if you have very much weaker runes than me, you probably won't be able to do this, because I'm only at 87% success and you saw my runes. So if your runes are like whatever, if your whole team is like 10 speed and 10 crit damage worse than mine, you'll probably drop down to like 70% success or something like that if I had to guess. I don't know. And then if you have really good runes and you try this team and it does work really well, that'd be cool if you can, like, whatever, tell me in the comments so I can know that this team does work and I just need to keep farming and get better runes, and then I can make this team work really well. But that's really all I have for today's video, guys. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, just leave them in the comments. But yeah, that's really all I have for today. So may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows.